afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Today's workshop, we look at project approach, benefits of project approach. We have a sample of a web planning grid, also the project learning centers, different project learning centers. So let us begin. Definition of project approach. All children have a natural tendency to explore and discover. According to Project Approach 2014, the project approach can be defined as teaching strategies which helps practitioners to guide children through in-depth learning about real-world topics. When you all as practitioners implement this type of approach in the curriculum, it encourages children to get actively engaged in all activities. And eventually, this leads to producing high quality work. According to Project Approach 2014, some beliefs of the project approach based on the constructivist theoretical framework are: every child wants to learn and comes to school to get with great interest to understand their experiences. Also, although some children may construct their own knowledge, all children construct their own knowledge, however, they need you all as the practitioners to guide and facilitate the process. So we don't always need to initiate for them. Let the children initiate the play and you can guide them. Children have diverse interests, strengths, weaknesses, and backgrounds. When you all as practitioners capitalize on all these differences, it helps children to develop as individuals and they learn from each other. How does the project approach work? The first step will be where you as the practitioner, you get the children involved by allowing them to share their experiences. This can be done through discussion. So let them share their experiences and knowledge with you, and this builds their interest. They get so interested in the activity. Step 2, inquiry through different modes. So after you talk about it, you take them on a field trip. You read books about it, watch videos about the same topic. When you do that, it allows the children to illustrate, and then they are better able to share what they have learned with their peers. And the third step will be assessment on new knowledge. The children will derive at a conclusion and examine their achievement. There are many benefits of the project approach. According to Young, some benefits of the project approach are: it complements academic learning and play, fosters intellectual development such as critical thinking, problem solving, finer discrimination, and creativity. It encourages curiosity and inquisitiveness, because when you use the project approach, it allows children to go out there and explore through all the different centers, and they try to figure out why this is happening, how come this is happening, what is making it work the way it is working. It also integrates all aspects and areas of learning of child development. So with the project approach, we don't just cover one area of learning to say we're covering only math or language. No, we cover all areas, so it's integrated. It builds children's confidence in their abilities and in themselves. Here we have a web, example of a web, and the theme we look at is hats. Under math activities and hats, we look at the size of the hat, number of hats, sorting hats, matching hats. Science activities, what color is the hat? Texture of the hat. You can have the children name the hat and also describe different hats. On the language activities, why do we wear hats? What hat do we wear when we are riding a bike? What kind of hat do we wear in the summer? Or what kind of hat do we wear in the winter? So all these are language activities we can get out from under hats. Another activity will be drama activities. Have the children dress up using different hats. They could also role play and impersonate different people who wear hats. We can have a hat parade and let the children bring their own hat to school, and we do a show and tell. This is what we call a planning grid. For a planning grid, you have the purpose of the project. So the purpose of this project will be for the children to learn about hats and its various purposes, different kinds of hats as well. Characteristics of students. Some characteristics will be the children will be familiar because some children will know about hats. They will have hats at home. Also, some children might be unaware of the variety of hats and who made hats. Concepts. Hats are used for what? Hats are used to protect your head. Hats come in various size, color, texture, design. People use hats for many different reasons, and these are some of the concepts they will get from it. Objectives. One of the objectives will be to develop knowledge about different kinds of hats, where hats were made, the importance of wearing hats. Another objective will be to develop skills of communication with peers and adults, observing, sorting, describing hats, recording, pretending, creating hats. We'll go on the activities for children. What activities could we derive from when you're doing a theme like hats? Sing songs and rhymes about hats, count hats, they can make hats, they can decorate hats. Some other activities would be you can listen to stories about hats, you can make a hat collage, you can have a show and tell and dramatize hats. So all these are different activities you can get out of the theme hats. Expected learning. What do you expect the children to learn? Children will discover the different types of hats, shapes, colors, texture, size. They will also develop a sense of appreciation for who made hats. Let's look at evaluation of students. Concepts. Children will gain knowledge of the various types of hats, the use of hats, and which hat is used for what particular purpose. Another concept will be their skills. The skills they will derive from this will be imagining and creating hats, describing size, color, and texture of hats, describing people who wear a particular hat for a particular purpose, observing hats, and sorting them by size. Children will also develop attitudes such as they will derive great enjoyment modeling and talking about the hats, working cooperatively together with their peers as they make a hat collage, as they decorate a bulletin with hats. Now let's look at the materials required. Materials, you can use videos, CDs about hats. You can have samples of different types of hats for children to actually try on. You can have a hat chart, books about hats. Some other materials will be where you can have paper, scissors, glue, feathers, sequins, some paint, some crayons. All these things children can use to create their own hats or to decorate hats, and also some printed outline of hats. Next, we'll move on to our learning centers. So, how are we going to bring out the theme hats in the math center? So in the Math Project Learning Center, what we have here, as you can see, this is a printout of a hat, and the child is actually using peas to decorate the hat. Here, you will see 4 pink hats, 6 blue hats. The children can count the hats and write the amount of hats. Across, another activity and math activity is caps for sale. How many caps? I have, and you can color the cap red. I have 2 red caps for sale, and they can color the caps red. Here, we have another activity where you can cut out pieces of paper looking like hats. So random colors, brown, blue, red, gray. And this is where the children will have to stick the hats. So how many brown hats? So they stuck 2 brown hats. So next to brown, they write the number 2. How many blue hats? They stuck 1 blue hat. Next to blue, they write blue, and continue. Here, we also have a table with assorted colored hats. So children can sort color by hats, put all the blue hats together, all the yellow hats together, and then count them. Or they can just count all the hats together. This is how we can bring out hats in the Math Learning Center. Let's move on to the Language Learning Center. Here we have a circle time. We're going to sit on this mat. Now if you look at the mat carefully, on the mat, the children can learn from the mat for circle time, where you're seeing different workers who are all wearing hats. You have the construction worker, the police officer, the nurse, the baker, they're all wearing hats. So other than sitting and discussing on the mat, the children can also learn about different hats and who wear them from on the mat itself. We have a hat chart where we have sombreros, we have a baseball hat, we have party hats. You can talk about top hat, chef hat, baker's hat. For the bigger, older children, we can use phonics activity where they have the cap and they have to come up with the first letter, the k. What letter makes the k sound? Because this is a cap. So what letter makes the k sound? The letter C, and they can write the C in there to form the word cap. We move on to the Science Center. In the Science Center, you can have a table with random different hats. You have a black hat. Then we also have a straw hat, helmet, which is hard, cap, fluffy hat, baker's hat, all different textures for the children to explore with. In the Dramatic Project Learning Center, we can have a big toy box with random hats. Mirror, must have a mirror so the children can look at themselves, and the children can do their show and tell here where they can put on their hats, look in the mirror, and talk about their hats with their peers. This brings us to the end of our presentation about the project approach and how you can implement it in the learning centers and also in your planning grids. I do hope that this workshop educated you, be able to take something away with you, and I say thank you.